Rusky's Crypto Cave here. Just realized overnight I hit 100 subscribers, so thank you very much. Just give you a little update today on the shed. For the last few days, as you can see, the gable vents have been on the ground. At least 8 of them anyway. And you can see all the lint and dandelion seeds and whatnot. You get caught all of them. But the airflow has been fantastic with these things off. But I kind of was tinkering around with the MERV 6 filters that I had, and as you can see, they split apart really easy. So that's the blue portion of them, and there's the white portion of them. So it's basically cut them in half essentially by just tearing them apart. So I'm gonna give that a whirl and see how they work with the airflow and just remove all the vents. But you can see it's roughly 85 up there, 79 there. We do have all 4 fans rolling at about a speed of 3 or 4 it looks like. Keep some lights on. But intake side is 70, 84 there. That one's at 81. The basic intake, and that one's at 71 there. The other thing I want to fix, I've been having issues with this AC Infinity Controller 69. It's been just shutting off and then turning right back on, and the fan gradually ramps back up to the speed of 9. I think I have it on, yeah. And but it actually caused an issue last night around 7:30 or so. It actually the AC overheated and shut down. So I think there's an issue with that controller, because that's the same controller here, and that's been perfect nonstop. So what I did, I have the original controllers, just the manual jobs here. So I'm just going to hook this up while I do the return in the other one, and just set that at a constant speed, and so I should be good to go with that. I'm also going to pull off the bottom gable vents, put the filters on, and see how they work. Clean them up a bit because they're all kind of crusty with some just yard debris floating around the air. So that's what those filters are going to trap out. But rigs themselves, you can see there's a layer of pollen and dust on top of the octaliners. So that's kind of what I want to prevent from happening. Didn't get a shipment notification on the other S19 that I ordered, but my guess, I'm thinking that's probably going to be sometime in June. So we'll wait for that. But everything else has been running well. These 3080s now, I believe I have them on a lithium. I don't think I don't have anything on Ironfish anymore. I had a couple rigs on Ironfish, mine directly to KuCoin and selling to USDT. And then actually, last night I just bought some more Caspa with the USDT. That was sitting there. This Caspa started dumping it right just above 2 cents. So I picked up some more. Still about 25,000 Caspa away from my goal, what I want to hit. And I'm just trying to fill that bag. Be a nice even number. But anyways, I'm gonna hook some of the other stuff up. House AC just kicked on. But get those filters installed, clean up the vents, and I'll be back. Alrighty, all the gable vents are back on, filters are in. I'm gonna give it some time and see what the temps get up to. They already creeped up a little into the 80s. That's up a couple degrees too. Still some airflow coming in, but definitely not as much as before when there's no gable vents. But I'll let it run for a while, keep an eye on it. That is at 76, that creeped up. But it is 64 degrees outside. So we'll let this run for a bit. Yeah, temps go, and come back and give an update. Alrighty, as you can see, we're in my phone now. The intake temperature has creeped up from 73 degrees to 77.5. And the exhaust temps, which I think were 81, I believe I had to look back at the video, but I think it was 81, and then the higher up one was upper 80s, I believe. For the AC Infinity, temperature probe was higher because that's set up higher in a shed, whereas the Govee Wi-Fi thermometer is right pretty much in between all four fans, and that's around 84. And the intake side is 77.7 now. So it is creeping up, and I did actually bump up the fan speed a little bit too, to the speed of 6 on all of them. And see, that's reading 90 now. It was just down to 89 point something. And temperature outside is still 64 degrees. So by adding the restriction back to the airflow, temps did go up, which I was expecting. So not actually too bad though. So I'll have to let it run. It's been about 22, 23 minutes. And since I closed up the shed and came inside. So I'm going to let it keep going and see where we top out at. I'll let it stabilize. And then we'll check it again. Alrighty, back in the phone. As you can see, intake temps are up to 80. Exhaust is at 86. So both of those creeped up a little bit. And just please ignore my dog whimpering like a little baby. And the AC Infinity probe is up to 92. Fans still are at 6. Next thing I'm going to do is, just like I had before, I had the top 2 rows of the gable vents off. I am going to pull those off, but leave the filters on and see what that does. So we'll see what happens after that, after about 15, 20 minutes. And I pulled out the gable vents off the first 2 rows. I'm just going to let it run like that for a while and see what happens with the temps. Not going to change the fan speeds or anything. Outside temps are up to 66. So that may have contributed to the slight increase in temps from the last cut in. So we'll see. We'll see how this does now. Give it about another 15, 20 minutes and I'll be back in and check the results. Alrighty, as you can see, the temps are up to 92.8. 92.9, kind of fluctuating back and forth. Fan speed is the same. And we go into the Govee app, 81.1, so that creeped up a little bit. And oddly enough, the exhausts creeped down a tiny bit. Let's see, 86.2 is what it was in the other one. Now it's on 85.8. So that really didn't make much of a difference. If anything, it went up a little bit. The outside temperature did creep up to 67. So that's not really a whole lot, 1 degree Fahrenheit difference. So not sure really that makes much of a difference. Now I bet if I take off the filters completely, I'm guessing the temps are going to drop, which I do have to go to an appointment, so I'm not going to be able to do that now, unfortunately. So I will have to do that when I get back, but I'll give that a whirl then once I get back. Alrighty, it's been about 30 minutes or so. Actually, I just got to my chiropractor appointment before I walk in. The intake temps right around 81 or so. Exhaust temps on the Govee thermometer are up a little bit. If I switch over to the AC Infinity thermometer, that actually creeped down about 1 degree, and then the outside temperature is actually 69 degrees now instead of 67 as it was before. So I would say it probably cooled it down a bit by removing those filters, but not a huge difference. But on the bottom row, I still had the filters in and the gable vents on, so that is restricting some of the airflow with those vents. Just take down to 91.7. So it is cooling it a little bit. Not sure if that little bit of a temperature difference is going to be worth keeping those filters out, so I may just keep the filters in and just increase the fan speed as I need to, just to keep her cool. So I'll check again after my appointment just to see what it is, but I'll wait till I get home to do that, and so we'll catch you then. Back again, just got back from the appointment. Shed temps were creeping up, so I kicked the fan up to 7. It's at 94 right now. It was at 96, 97 before when I first turned it on. And but the fan's at 7 is dropping it pretty quickly, actually. And then we got intakes at 85.3 and then 91.9 for the exhaust. So that's a couple degrees cooler than what the AC Infinity, which has been a trend, pretty much how it's been. So, and it's like, and the ambient temperature is up to 72, so that's part of the reason two temps have been going up. So, didn't make as much of a difference as I thought it would, removing the filters. Maybe if I take the whole bottom row out as well, that might change things, but it is what it is. Technically, I probably should have another row, I guess, of intakes. Would probably just help. I guess more intake, the better. But either way, really just want to wait until a 80, 90 degree day and see how it does. And see where I have to have the fans at and all that stuff. Because as far as the GPU rigs and stuff, temps are fine. ASIC temps are fine. I'm actually sitting on the couch on a laptop. Let's see, the inlet temps for the S19 is 56. Outlet is 71. So they're all good and in line. No issues there. So we'll just keep on keeping on. So until the next one, I still have to mess around with my little hood design. I haven't done that yet. But I'll get working on that. I think it's just going to be one large piece for the top, angled down at a roughly a 45 degree angle, maybe a little less. And then two pieces of plywood on the side, maybe about a foot wide, if that. So I can't make them too wide because I need to get back in there to tend to the filters and things like that. So we'll have to mess around with that. But that'll be for another video. So we'll catch us all later.